Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you are well wherever you are in the world. Just a short video from me after 5 years of not doing a Total War video. In Warhammer 3, Lord Stealing is a thing. You can Lord Steal. It's available to every single faction, because it's all based around the allegiance system. It's just you need to kill the Lord in a very specific way. So I've got a couple of scenarios here. Two of which have naturally occurred in my campaigns. I've been able to replicate it. I've then gone into the control commands to be able to automate this or do this on a scripted prompt, and it's also working there, so I'm pretty confident that this is replicable for your campaigns. So yeah, I'm just going to show you how this works. I've allied with Reichland here, so you can see that I've borrowed this guy, Geralt Orteman. He is rank 22, I got him at rank 20. An important thing to note with that is at rank 20 you automatically get immortality. So yep, I've got him. Normally what would happen is if he dies in battle, or if the army is returned, or if he dies but the army survives, in all of those instances this lord goes back into Reichland's recruit pool. However, we want him to be in our recruit pool, and there's only one specific way that I have found that this works, and that is having him die from attrition. More than that, the whole army has to die at the same point, also from attrition. So I'm just going to roll on the turn, and we'll see it do that. Okay, we're back. Let's just go through. There we are. So you see here that there is a wounded pop-up, an army returned with the Bretonnian flag. So what's happened is, in every other situation where the general dies, the army dies, there is a routine where the borrowed army sort of rules kick in. But for some reason, the army and general dying from attrition at the same point, this simply hasn't been applied. So if I go over to Pack Ice Bay, open my generals, General of the Empire appears here. Now because this has been done via the allegiance system, a system which is open to every faction, this is possible to do with any faction and any general in the game, provided that they are 1, immortal. If they're not immortal and you do this, they die. And 2, they have to be recruitable. So you can't do this on legendary lords, and you can't do this on faction leaders. It has to be a recruitable lord who is immortal. Okay, it's 4 turns later, and he is ready for duty, so I can just load him up. General of the Empire, here he is. And as you can tell, all of his character details and ancillary are ours. I can open up the skill lord tree, I can reset them, I can see all the traits that he's got over the campaign, so he's now my lord. I can use him as I wish, and he simply is just used within my current faction now. I've got another example to show you as well. Okay, here we are in actually the first campaign where I found this. So I'm playing as the vampire counts. I'm playing it pretty relaxed. So I did a Dota Fins campaign for the long victory condition, went and achieved that by just pretty much just vassalizing everybody and only having a couple territories myself. Then I kind of got bored and just started sending armies off into the ether just to capture territories. So I've got a army of Curon and army of Clan Scryer here, who have just been fighting their way down to get to the Galleon's graveyard. I've been altering the whole thing. I've not really been trying that hard. I don't care if they die, I don't care if they survive. They did have 3 paladins, which I want to take. I was also after this plague priest, although they started off below immortal, so I have to hand it back first. So yeah, we've got an incoming army here of the Vampire Coast, and I'm going to show you a very interesting situation in which this was found. So first off, I'm going to plonk these 2 armies here. Going to recruit an army because right now those 2 alone won't defeat that force. Brilliant. Okay, so the end turns happened. I did get attacked by the army. I simply retreated, and yeah, we're all good. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to bring this main army in, and you can see obviously we're plagued. We've got Skaven attrition, and also we're very low on health. If I attack this army, I can defeat it. It's all going to die. 2 of my paladins are going to die, and a fair few heroes of the Skaven army are also going to die. Cool. So what you'll see here is a couple of the heroes have been wounded, so just your plain bog standard hero stealing. And you can see here the same situation as the Bretonnia campaign. This lord is going to die in next turn via attrition. This lord is also going to die via attrition, but his army is not. And I'm going to use this as a very useful example to show you that, well, what happens when these two situations happen. Meanwhile, let's just defeat this army so there's no any problems that come over the end turn. And let's end the turn there. Okay, so we are back in the turn, and really interesting to see, there is now only one army remaining. You see the Skaven Lord also died of plague, but his army remains, so he's gone back to Skaven. And you can see on here, it has a Skaven, going back to the clan squire. Now if I go over to the recruit pool, I can see the prophetess. Now, same as the Empire Lord, I can recruit Jacqueline Thugard, and I'll be able to use her in my campaigns. Okay, a few turns on, I have now got Jacqueline Thugard. Took her 3 turns to come back to being recruited, and you can see, same as the General of the Empire when I was playing as Bretonnia, I can open her skill tree, I can edit her skill tree, I can add some points. But another application that you can do with this is you can get the Legendary Lord defeat traits of the faction this Lord comes from, and then you can load this character back into that save file. So I'm going to demonstrate that with Jacqueline here. I'm allied to Yuan Leonker. He's actually my vassal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel my vassalation status with him. And it's actually a close victory with this. I wonder what the damage is. No. Just 1 unit there. No units there. No units there. Sweet. Oh, nice. Damn, I should kill Yuan more often. Lots of experience. And yeah, I'm just going to occupy it. Brilliant. Okay. Talisman of Preservation and Kingslayer, so defeated Yuan Leonker. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if you did this in a Bretonnian campaign, you actually get a negative trait. I think Yuan's one of those lords which has 2 defeat traits, one for killed by a Bretonnian faction and one by another faction, so that's this one here. I can now take Jacqueline Thugard and I can save her. Now, because the load character option is based on faction, I can't load her into another Vampire Counts campaign, but I can load her into a Bretonnia one, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, welcome back very handily to the very same Bretonnian campaign I was in just a moment ago. So we can see here I am about to recruit the General of the Empire. I've already shown you that one. If I go over to my load character screen, you can see Jacqueline Thugard. She costs a little more money than I have. What's that about? 3,000? 2,800 odd. Let's just sell something. I'm going to confederate you anyway soon, so your wise counsel is to pay me money. Yep, brilliant. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. Lovely. Okay, so I now go into my Lord Recruit panel, and I get Jacqueline Thugard, rank 37, If I open her up, because I loaded her in here, I don't get any of her armors or ancillaries, so those all stay in the campaign there I started, but everything else comes over, so her vows, her skills. Interestingly, when we're in vampire counts, the vows did not show, but that showed when here, so it is in the background on the other character, but yeah, it just doesn't show. See, all of her ancillaries are the same, and in particular, Kingslayer. So she's defeated Luan Leonka, and now you can use her in this campaign. So if we're going to do some cavalry recruitment with my very small amount of money, it is significantly cheaper. I've all got to give her perhaps the extra recruiter. I think it's not on this one. Yeah, I can reduce it even further. So that's just a very handy way. But the reality of the situation is you can you can just do this on any legendary lord of your faction. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. I know by this point I have shown you that lord stealing works, but let me show you one more just to hammer home the point. And this is with the absolute king of lord stealing, which, yeah, if you play Warhammer 3 and you've got the latest DLC, you probably would have guessed that it's Yuan. He has two faction mechanics in particular just make lord stealing so easy with him, and that is, firstly, his Matters of State. He has an ability called Foreign Stratagem, which allows him to target any army and loan it to you, regardless of the whether you have an alliance with them or not. You can be neutral, and regardless of the allegiance points, so you don't need to worry around or wait around to get the points. So I'm actually allied with the Empire over here, but I can do Force Stratagem on this army here, and I can also steal all their heroes. Right, let's go and do that. Damn. Right, there we are. So I've now got this army for 10 turns. Now, the other thing you would have noticed, this guy is not immortal, he's a level 2. However, it doesn't matter if you're Yuan Bo, because if I go over to the Wujing Compass, over here, Dragon River, if you get Hexawatl, every character is immortal. So it literally doesn't matter. They don't need to reach rank 20. You can get them whenever. So it makes lord stealing incredibly easy with Yuan Bo. Okay, and a couple of turns later, Peter Sidu is ours, and actually the right amount of time to get all the heroes. So get all of that. I actually now have 2 generals of the Empire. I had another guy that I was able to steal. So that's 2 generals of the Empire for Cathay here. And this is where I thought the video would be ending. But I just couldn't turn my little brain off, and I needed to check. Are there any legendary lords that could be stolen using this? Because technically, there absolutely should not be. There shouldn't be. 100% should not be. And this should be known because this is wholly reliant on Creative Assembly not leaving any data errors in their set. And I think you know where I'm going with this. There are legendary lords in this game that you can steal. There are 3, in fact. And I'm going to show you this because, oh my god, it's beautiful. Oh god, it's so good and broken. So before I get that, I'm going to do a quick preamble just to show how the fuck this works. Because, yeah, okay, first off, welcome to Karl Franz's Nightmare. I'm in a modded campaign here. I've got the console commands enabled, and I've got another mod which gives you 30 legion points a turn with an ally. I have given every legendary lord, I've confederated every legendary lord into the secessionists. So every single lord with a land province is now confederated in. There's only 2 lords that aren't, I'm not able to actually test with this on, which are the Changeling and Nakai the Wanderer, but quite frankly, they literally never, well, you'll find out later in the video why it literally is not going to apply to them. So if I go over to Heinrich Kemmler over here, he is now part of the Secessionists. If I hover over his thingamajiggy to hire him, it says, this army contains a character that can't be loaned. That is Heinrich himself. There are no other lords in this army, no other units in this army that are blocking that. It's literally him. Similarly, you are also not able to get faction leaders. So I'm going to do this with Avaland and Sturland. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ally myself with Avaland. Say for some reason you really wanted to get Mad Marius Leetdorf, you had an invasion of unicorns coming and you needed to stop it with Marius Leetdorf. He is the man for you. Well, sadly, if you try to get him while he is the leader of Avaland, he too has his army contains a character that cannot be loaned. Because he is their faction leader, he's part of their diplomacy tab. The game needs him to be there. However, if he gets confederated, confederate to, so I confederate him into Stirland. Stirland ever increases its grip. Old word geographic update, please. Alliance with good old Stirland. Good, allied with Stirland. Now their faction leader is this dude, and if I hover over him, same message, cannot be loaned. However, if I go back to Mad Marius Leetdorf, it now allows me to get him. All I need to do is wait my time to get the allegiance points, but I can get him. He's a faction leader. He can be recruited if he is confederated. Now this is where the problem occurs. So every legendary lord should always have this block, regardless of what faction they're in. However, there are 3 who, once they are confederated, can be taken. And yeah, let's go into who they are. Do you like infinite ammunition? Because I can tell you I certainly do. And do you know who's willing to provide that to you? Atharion the Grim. The Warden of Tor Ivres will join your faction for the tidy sum of 45 allegiance points, or whatever the going rate happens to be in your campaigns. Eltharion the fucking Grim will join your faction. Oh my god. Enemies to lovers? Grom the Paunch will join your faction at the moment. 48 allegiance points, again, whatever he happens to deem it to be. Funnily enough, his giant river troll hag also joins him. And third and finally, probably the most difficult one to get out of this is Imric. The literal Dragon King will also join you. If you want a Miao Ying Imric Lovers Reunited campaign, this is technically possible. It will be fucking hard to do, but it is possible, and oh, you better believe I'm going to try and do this. Oh no. Okay, and we're back. I wasn't going to go through the whole thing showing you the same technique I've already shown you. I have now got all 3 of these lords, and oh dear Christ. Yep, you have access to all of their skills. Here is Eltharion the Grim with the very, very balanced unending volley, providing infinite ammunition for all of the Empire artillery. All of the Empire Hellstorm rocket battery with infinite ammunition. Oh my god, like, obviously most of the factions in this game are reliant on missiles, so this is just disgusting. That's beautiful. We've got Imric over here, who he obviously gets to his dragon eventually, and Ashen Field, so weakness to fire damage. So he'd be great with like a faction that does fire damage. So if you're doing like Warriors of Chaos and you had Harry Hammerstorm, I think he provides fire attack to the whole army. That would be pretty solid. Him with a fire wizard, any faction would cause pretty good damage. And also the Chaos Dwarfs, because you have Lord Hashut, which also provides weakness damage. So there's definitely really cool applications for him. And Grom, I mean, well, not to be the greenskin hater here, but he doesn't really provide anything to like a faction as such. But you know, he's just a giant meme. Who doesn't want like a legendary lord if you could get one? Yeah, because everything's based around like goblins and the his faction mechanic. So one thing I can tell you is actually the quests work, and the legendary lords imported in. These quests do work, they do load, you can fight all of these battles. There are some which are locked, so this lucky banner requires you, for example, to get a Wa, which you can't do. But I mean, in reality, if you are doing this in a campaign and you're trying to find a way to recruit these into your faction, they would have reached all of the levels to do their quests anyway. So that likely isn't too much of a problem, but so you know, it does actually work. Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen to Balance. I present to you complete and utter balance. Eltharion the Grim providing infinite ammunition for Hellblaster volley guns and Hellstorm rocket batteries. Oh, Jesus Christ. And it doesn't do it on steam tanks because this is technically a war machine rather than an artillery piece, but I've just got these as a bit of a front line. Send the warrior priest up ahead, and then these guys just blast the ever holy shit out of anything in front of them. Got a light wizard because Net of Amontok, and Eltharion the Grim is our new proud Elector Count of Wissenland, which among which gives him over here extra 10% damage for artillery. He always needs more. Bit of missile resistance. I say a bit. Christ, 40% missile resistance, and slows people down. So he's also got Net of Amontok as well. Yeah, balance. Say hello also to Grum the Paunch. I have not figured out an army for him. I don't really know what I'm going to do with Grom, but I don't care. He has naturally found his place as the Elector Count of Stirland, which I think is a perfect fit. So, yep, he's over there. And old Imric here is the Elector Count of the Vampire Council, the Elector Count of Sylvania, because, you know, more fire damage. And yes, here he is with an army of Knights of the Blazing Sun and a Bright Wizard. Oh, that does remind me, actually, I better, if you got a, what's it called, a Dwarf Engineer on top of this for even more additional damage, movement range, and the ammunition as well. Oh my god, this is, it's just utterly disgusting. So I find myself asking why these three. If I go to any of the other lords, all of them have the block stopping you from being able to recruit them. So why these three in particular? Well, I don't know, but an immediate hunch that comes out is that these three all came out at the same time in Warhammer 2. They're part of the Warden and the Paunch DLC and the associated FLC, which was Imric. So there's a common trend with them here. If I click on them, I can't actually save. There's no save button for playing in a custom battle on all three of them. So that's not there on Imric. And if I go to Grom, he's not there either. Whereas literally any other character, any of the legendary lord, if you hover over save character, it will save use in a custom battle. What I think this indicates is there's been a straight data swap from Warhammer 2 to Warhammer 3, and these three just have been forgotten on a couple of datasets. So they're not on an updated Warhammer 3 dataset that will give a save function to use in a custom battle, and they've not been updated for a dataset regarding the recruitment of legendary lords. Well, this surprises me because I would have assumed that if you, in Warhammer 3, if there's a set of rules that legendary lords have to apply to, there would be a single legendary lord data list saying the things that you can and can't do if someone has this trait, or someone has this nommer. But no, apparently they've got to be added to multiple different lists for this to work. And that's if it's that theory. It might be something else entirely. But I can't get away from the fact that these three all came out at the same time. I mean, it could be complete coincidence, but, you know. So yeah, I think I'm going to do a couple more videos. I might do a video on how to get Eltharion legitimately. I'll try to do that in the continuation of the Bretonia campaign that I was showing you before. I will try and do one for Grum as well. I actually think I think Eltharion's going to be the easiest. High Elves don't confederate easy, but it's doable. You've just got to like really pound Eltharion into the ground, leave him with one settlement, then wait for one of the High Elves to confederate, and then just ally with them. Grum would be the next easiest, because the Greenskins confederate each other if they get beaten. So if a legendary lord gets beaten by another lord, they just confederate into that faction, and that can be done with non-legendary factions as well. So should be easy. Imric is going to be difficult. I mean, even though it's technically doable, there's no high elves near him who are actually going to confederate him. You need to, yeah, that one would be difficult. But yeah, I'll do videos on all three over time. So yeah, what I'd suggest if you're watching this video, do share this around to some of your other creators. I'll also send it to them, because I mean, I've tested this quite a bit, but I'd love to see this work on other people's campaigns and see the people producing all the videos do some crazy antics with either these three bad boys or with just any other lord. Because now that this is known, and if it is working on a mass scale for everyone, then there must be something else. There must be something on top of this that you can do. But yeah, so I'm going to leave that there. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're well wherever you are.